Welcome back, everybody, to Civilization 5. Winter is coming! This is the AI-only battle. Where we left off last time, Mance Raider, with the help of Littlefinger, had finally managed to wipe out the Ironborn. So they are gone now, and to be honest, I think Peter Baelish is going to do well to survive much longer, as he doesn't have many cities. Same as Stannis. Also doesn't have many cities, with the Dothraki horde coming across the ocean. I think we're definitely getting into the end game now. You can see the Tyrells spread around quite a lot. Has little outposts spread throughout other people's lands, with their main border with the Lannisters right here. As that failed war granted them Cornfield and Bronzegate. And then across the sea, you have the Dothraki. Although they still do have some little footholds from House Tyrell there and here. And then from House Lannister here. So we're going to get going, and we're going to see how this turns out. Based on how the AI is programmed, it'll be interesting to see which of the largest factions declares war on which of the other largest factions first, because to be honest, I can see them ganging up to get rid of Stannis and Littlefinger first, and then leaving themselves just with 4 factions left. I think this is definitely going to come down to a fight between Tywin Lannister, Khal Drogo, Elena Tyrell, always forget her name, and Mance Raider. It's definitely going to come down to a war between those 4, and it'll be interesting to see who can come out on top, because to be honest, we're coming up to turn 360-something. 362 at the moment, and it was going to be between sort of 400 and 500. We're going to see how things were at 400, and then if they were still in flux, push the game out to 500 turns. And we might get a 4-way stalemate, or even a 2- or 3-way stalemate across the sea. As you can see, we might end up with one faction on Westeros and one faction on Essos, and then it's just going to be a stalemate, and then we're going to have to go to our fallback plan, which was whoever holds King's Landing at the time will be crowned King of Westeros. Not that the Dothraki have that much interest in that, but that's just the terms and conditions that we set forth at the beginning. You can see Gulltown done a great job of holding off the Dothraki here. They have not been able to take that city with 43 defense. Nowhere near a large enough force. And they've fallen back in the end. Doesn't really matter if we get war declared on us or anything, because as you can see, Riverrun here, safely nestled within the mountains. Nobody can reach it. So up in the north, nothing really happening. People just rebuilding after the war with the Ironborn. White Harbour, Winterfell, and Deepwood Moat fell. And you can see there's going to be some tensions now, though, because the Lannisters have borders with Mance Raider now, as do the Tyrells, but the Tyrells just with this one city, so I can't see that producing too much border friction. But you can see the size of the army that Mance Raider has. It's not the largest we've seen, but it's very, very good at taking down cities with these elephants, giants, and battering rams. They are going to do some dastardly work. Down here in 10 Towers, that one fell to the Tyrells when the Lannisters went to war with the Ironborn. It's a shame that they were wiped out, because they were my pick. I thought them having these 3 defensible islands would be a good staging point for them to launch the war for the throne, but it turns out in the end that it just wasn't enough for them. Down here in Dawn, the Lannisters still holding Sunspear as well, and got a decent-sized army forming in Tyrosh. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to march towards the Dothraki, because there's quite a lot of military force in the south here from the Dothraki, and if they decide to turn their gears onto the Lannisters, they could very easily take out these 3 cities here. And we have a war. Mance Raider has declared war on Peter Baelish, and we're going to see how this one's going to go. Winterfell not even fully healed, and he's got some war mammoths right in the middle of their forces right now. Those war mammoths probably not going to last very long, but he does have a contingency of giants and battering rams. Probably going to be able to take out White Harbour and possibly Sisterton as well without too much trouble. And then we're going to see how good Mance Raider is at traversing this sea here. And there we go. The Wildling Horde coming down from the north. Not got that big an army, to be honest. It looks like they've got a lot of units on the board, but a lot of these are workers, and a lot of them are defensive units. Because they've done a... For some reason, they've put a lot of cities out here in the lands of always winter. And they're not going to do very much, considering that every single tile apart from the ocean is just going to be snow. So White Harbour starting to take some damage, but the Vale doing a good job of defending right now. I'm going to see what's happening in the south here with Tyrosh. Tywin still not doing anything with that army. The Dothraki are arranging some forces down here just in case anything were to happen. Have a little bit look further north. Gulltown. Looks like the attack on Gulltown is petered out. I do have some Blood Riders in the Vale. And it looks like Stannis Baratheon's actually taken the fight to the Dothraki, which is probably going to be a mistake. He's not going to be able to do much there. As we can see, Mance Raider doing a little bit more damage to White Harbour. But they're able to hold themselves for now. Look at this, the Lannisters got a sneaky settler here. It'll be interesting to see what they try and do with that, because there really isn't much land left to settle. Not at all. Be interesting to see if these archers... In fact, to be honest, they've got quite a decent military force here. 2 sets of crossbowmen, 3 sets of crossbowmen, 2 sets of mounted knights, and then some Vale knights as well. And there we go. No, White Harbour not able to stand up to the might from the north. They just obliterate that. That's the thing that Mance Raider is good at. Because of these battering rams, he's very good at taking down cities. That was my second choice. After the Ironborn looked like they were doomed, I'm kind of secretly rooting for Mance Raider, the king beyond the wall. Because I think he could probably do something here. If he can snatch a few of the Vale cities before anybody else gets involved in this war, he could catapult himself up in the standings just a bit. And then he could maybe turn his gears to Tywin Lannister, who at the moment looks like he's concentrating some of his forces over on Essos. And look at that, New Keep already starting to take a lot of damage from wildling ships here. Have a look in the south, nothing really happening there. More Lannister men landing. Up in the Midlands, Stannis Baratheon still senselessly battering his head against Old Anchor. He's only got 3 cities left, but they're 3 pretty defensible cities. You can see Dragonstone only has 2 land tiles that you can attack from, and it has 57 defense. That's going to be really difficult for someone to take down. I think we missed it there. New Keep has fallen to Mance Raider now. That went down very quickly. Now he's turning his gears to Sisterton. And to be honest, if he decides to make this a war to wipe out Peter, he could do this very easily. Once he's taken Sisterton, he can get a ship into the Coldwater burn and then move his forces across the ocean. He's already started moving his forces across this small sea here. It will be interesting to see if he can take out Peter Baelish. New Keep is under fire though. He's trying to retake it. He has this trebuchet. Unfortunately, a trebuchet can't capture a city. He needs a melee unit in there. He does have one in the form of this Vale Knight. There we go. He's been able to reinforce and he's taken out the Vale Knight. Sisterton has fallen as well. That just leaves Peter with Coldwater Burn, the Eyrie and Iron Oaks. And we're going to see now whether Mance Raider decides to peace out, maybe grab another city out of the peace deal, or whether he's just going to go for the extinction. Lannister's pretty quiet at the moment. It looks like they're reorganising some of their forces. You can see this force here that was up north has now started to move south. The Tyrells have got a lot of units stuck now. Although not stuck, because it looks like they have border access. They're just keeping them there for some reason. Nobody building up a force on anybody's borders, because this will be the war to end wars. The Tyrells and the Lannisters Somebody's going to come away from that with a bloody nose and maybe a knife or two in the back as well. But you can see the Lannisters still concentrating more forces on Essos. And here we go. The Tyrells have declared war on Stannis Baratheon. They've got a few forces here. They may be able to take Sharp Point. Although that only has 3 land tiles that you can attack from, but it also has 3 sea tiles. So that's going to be a little bit easier to take than Dragonstone. But not much easier. Stannis just has a lot. Well, not a lot of military force, but every single tile is taken up with a military unit. It's going to be difficult to get in there and do anything to that city. Looks like Mance Raider is now moving on to Coldwater Burn. Not satisfied just with taking White Harbour, Sisterton and Newkeep. They want the north to be theirs. And what is classified as the north, the border keeps shifting. It keeps moving further and further south. There are a lot of ships for the Lannisters in this sea here. And over here as well. There are some big navies. Still, I'm interested to see what the Lannisters do here. If the AI was slightly better, they could definitely take advantage of the Tyrells' war with Stannis and move some forces in, maybe retake Cornfield and Bronzegate. Maybe take a couple more as well. Highgarden's quite close to this border, but then again, so is Casterly Rock, the capitals. And here we go, Coldwater Burn is now under siege. Let's see how much damage Mance can do in a single turn. Looks like none. Looks like he was just reorganising his troops a little bit, as they probably weren't in the best of positions. I think Peter Baelish acts first in a turn, and Mance Raider acts last. We'll see if that has an effect on the war. And look at this, the Tyrells have just been wiped out almost to a man, thanks to the fact that they can't land enough forces to take Sharp Point. It's going to take a huge combined military effort to take out Stannis at this point. These two still got footholds in the middle of the Dothraki territory. In Coldwater Burn, I'm not sure if it took any damage actually. It may have taken a little. It looks like Mance Raider's finding it difficult to get his troops into position. AI handles congested areas not very well at all. Mance Raider's finding it difficult to get in and attack Coldwater Burn. He is closing in on the Tyrell's score at this point though, and there we go, just reorganised troops again, did not attack Coldwater Burn. I'm not sure if these crossbowmen are in range. Will be interesting to see, but all the time he's not taking cities. He's losing ground on the big guys. Although the Tyrells did just lose a decent force trying to take Sharp Point. Khal Drogo now just gathering a force. I'm not sure what he's doing. Maybe he's going to make war in the north here. Didn't even notice that the Tyrells had got a colony over there. Same as right in the south here. They've got Black Crown. This could make some great backdoor action. And did they manage to do some damage to Coldwater Burn? They did indeed. There was a crossbowman in range. But now the Vale have turned around. This could take a hell of a long time to go down, because the AI doesn't quite like sending melee units up against a city if it's not a favourable attack, so they'll just work it down with crossbowmen. Well, some AI don't. Some AI just burn through melee units without giving a damn, as you see here. Started to attack with the battering rams as well, while pounding with the crossbowmen. It's going to be interesting to see what someone like Tywin Lannister decides to do now. He's got a big military over near his starting starting holdings. Tyrell still battering their head against the slab that is Sharp Point. And if they can't make an impact on Sharp Point, how on earth are they ever going to take Dragonstone? Tywin still with a force in the east. The Dothraki don't have comparable forces nearby, so if they wanted to launch a sneak attack, they could probably take a few cities away if they were smart about it before the Dothraki were able to do anything about it. And I think because of bad unit management by the AI, this may be where Mance Raider's war ends. We'll have to see when it gets to his turn. Yep. This may be where the war against the Vale ends, as he can't organise enough troops to do enough damage to Coldwater. May be up to somebody like Tywin Lannister to come in and finish them off, take out the Eyrie and Iron Oaks, because Peter Baelish is hanging on by his fingernails here. There's nothing really he can do. All he can do is fight a defensive war. If he wanted to gain any ground, he would probably have to send a force south to try and take Gulltown and then consolidate this area here. Or if he launched a sneak attack against Tywin Lannister, he could possibly take Crossroads in and 9 stars. And here we go. Like I said, Mance Raider not able to maneuver the melee units effectively enough. For some reason, they don't try and envelop this city, and they're not trying to put a boat in the harbour here either. Well, they do have a crossbowman. So I think this is... Oh no, there we go. Starting to attack with the battering rams. He may still take Coldwater Burn. The AI definitely does find it difficult when there's limited space. Sharp Point still alive. But the Tyrells have landed some landed knights. Not that they've got much health, so they're not going to survive very long at all. Peter Baelish doing a great job of fighting back. He's got nowhere near the production capacity of Mance Raider, but he is holding on. Obviously, a lot of Mance's forces have to come from way up north, whereas Peter's forces just waltz straight out of the cities, and straight into the war. It helps that Peter Baelish acts before Mance Raider as well in the turn order, so he's able to eliminate a lot of the forces that would be bombarding the city. And I think this is definitely going to be the stalling point. I don't think Mance Raider is going to be able to take Coldwater Burn, and it's going to have to be at what point does he decide to peace out, because if he waits too long, he's going to waste a lot of his military strength here, and it's going to take a long time for him to come back from that. And somebody else could decide to capitalise on the momentary weakness. Also, if he's got a much smaller military at the time that he makes peace, he may not be able to take a town from the Vale. So in the south, the Tyrells have started bombarding Sharp Point with their ships. They've got 3 ships around, but they're going to need some land units to get in there. See, they've pulled back those landed knights to try and keep them alive. Up in the north, Coldwater Burn still taking a little bit of damage, but not a lot. And see, he's got crossbowmen still, and war mammoths, and some giants arriving now. Battering rams in the sea. That's not the ideal place for a battering ram, to be fair. And the score's still very even at the top. Tywin and Drogo pretty much tied. Tyrell's not too far behind that, and Mance Raider not too far behind that at all. Stannis has actually moved up a place as well, thanks to Peter Baelish losing all of these cities and troops. But the troops that he's got are enough to just about hold on here. I do think this is going to be Mance Raider suing for peace, because I don't think he's going to be able to take anything else from Peter Baelish. Although he's still trying, still sending these troops in. You have to admire his tenacity. And I think that is going to be a good place to take a break. Mance Raider making war against the Vale, but coming up against the brick wall that is Coldwater Burn. So thanks very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you in a couple of days.